Hey, true believers, Sanglantine here. Now, along with that awesome annual #2, they released a book called Batman Creature of the Night. Now, man, when I heard about this, I wanted to love it. I did. I'm thinking, all right, you know, they've been just knocking them out of the park recently. And the annual especially. When I read this, I was hoping to get that same kind of feeling that, wow, I don't care, I just want to find out what happens next. And instead, I was amazingly okay with it. And I'm not talking about it was just mildly good. It was a good book. It just is not particularly memorable. It's one of those where every time you put it in the box, fine, you forget about it. But when you pick it up, oh, this is enjoyable. I remember liking this, so why don't I read it again? And this makes a review of this kind a little bit tough. The 1-minute reviews I do in the Marvel vs. DC, they're easy. I just give you an overview. But if I'm stretching this out, it's like, what do I talk about? Honestly, it was good. The art is something I think stands out, especially the first page where you see the Golden Age style Batman. But in all honesty, it's got this very nostalgic look to it anyway all throughout the book. The story itself is good, but it kind of goes off the rails where it absolutely has to go off the rails. So it is a story about a young man who is obsessed with Batman, mainly because of his name. He's a wealthy kid, not Bruce Wayne style wealthy, but the family is well off. His name is Bruce Wainwright, and he's attached himself because of that connection. Well, one night they come home, and like in the comic book, there are some burglars there, and they end up killing the kid's parents. And that's when the book gets good. See, this kid who has an obsession with Batman starts to question, well, what if Batman was there? What if he was in the real world? And he starts to put a life together that sounds like Batman. There's an officer named Gordon Hoover that he refers to as Police Officer Gordon, Lieutenant Gordon, Commissioner, so on and forth. And he really is trying to get by in life. And it's a serious book about trauma. They really do this part right. And the way that trauma is dealt with in the book, I think, is very honest. Especially as more and more are piled onto him. He has this uncle he loves named Alfred. And why wouldn't it be? But the state does not see Alfred as fit to be raising a child, so they put him in a boarding school. And of course, because of his recent tragedy and his obsession with the Batman comics, he's seen as an outsider. So not only is he isolated from family, he's isolated from any kind of friends as well, only getting to see his uncle once in a while at a zoo. And he wants to talk to people, but he doesn't trust his uncle because he thinks his uncle only wanted the money and now just kind of sends him away. So it really is good at dealing with loss. During a school field trip, he goes into the bat habitat, and while he's there, the bats escape, and he is blamed for the broken glass and the fact that the bats escaped, even though he's pointing out to everybody, look, the glass is on the outside. It's obviously they rushed out. He didn't push in, but nobody believes him, of course, because, you know, that would be a crazy story. Nobody would believe him in the real world. And this is where the book kind of flies off the rails a bit, because we start to see this creature, the creature of the night, he is attacking criminals. You see it as a really good shot as the hand flows over and then the bat body goes over. And this creature does start attacking criminals. And at first it's just willy-nilly. But then Bruce Wainwright goes back to Officer Gordon Hoover, and he finds out that the only way they're going to get any kind of momentum with the case is if they get lucky. Otherwise, his parents' murder is going to go unsolved. And he starts thinking, well, that's not right. Somebody knows something. Somebody has information out there. And that is when he realizes he's having these dreams, and they seem weird at first, but all of a sudden these dreams are him attacking criminals. And some of them have information towards his family's killing, his family's murder. And he starts looking into it himself. And that is in my opinion, that's where it kind of goes off the rails. Because this is just it's the supernatural into a book that was absolutely grounded up until that moment. And he discovers that he himself becomes the bat at night. Not like physically. He is not turning into Dracula, but he can control this bat creature with his mind through his dreams. So he begins to hunt down the criminals that killed his parents. And even though it's going through the supernatural element, there's still some grounded moments throughout this that just make the book a little bit extra special. It's where he is starting to forget his parents. He has only related to them as the dead parents for so long, he's forgetting about who they were and what they looked like before their murder. And that, to me, is possibly the best part of the book. I am spoiling the hell out of this for you. I will definitely remember to put a spoiler warning at the beginning of this. But anyway, like I said, the story itself is strong without being incredible, which is kind of a feat. But I guess a lot of the good books are just that. They're good books, not the classics. That's what makes the classics the classics. We remember them. They're the cream of the crop. I do not think Batman Creatures of the Night will be remembered by most people after all is said and done. It's not horrible. It's well drawn. The look of this book is really good. It's timeless. There's a nostalgic feel to it, even though it's taking place in the modern day. The colors are a little bit muted, but it's told in flashback, so it almost works for it. And it sets psychological tones. When he's alone, when he's in his bedroom, when he's talking, and even in his thought bubbles are all blue. It shows a form of depression. And I thought that was an interesting twist. So you also have the orange thought bubbles of the creature, which shows chaos. It's more violent. It's bold. And then, of course, the parchment look of the diary, because the book is being narrated by the uncle. So the whole book is visually interesting. There's storytelling going on, even behind the scenes, sort of in the makeup of the book, rather than just the book itself. It really is like watching a movie, like, say, Amistad from Steven Spielberg. Excellently put together. Great acting. It's Steven Spielberg, for cripe's sake, so you know it's directed well. It looks great. But when was the last time you said, hey, you know what, we should watch Amistad? No, because that's not the Steven Spielberg movie you go to. And this will not be the Kurt Busiek story that you go to either. It just won't. Probably Marvel's. The look is good. The story is strong. It's got some great grounded elements. It's mixed in with the supernatural. It sets up the story at the end. I think they said something about the boy Wonder, so we'll probably be seeing him become some sort of Robin as he's controlling his new Batman. There's much to be admired in this book. There really is. And I will look forward to any kind of sequel, which, according to the back page, there will be. But once again, I just hope something happens where the whole arc makes me feel something more than what I did with just this issue. Look at this panel. That is just too cool. This is why I chose this for the thumbnail. Looks awesome, doesn't it? It really is a well put together book. It just needs to be a little bit more. I don't know why, because every little bit of this is done to damn near perfection. So overall, is it worth the price? Yep, it is. You're going to enjoy this. You're going to put it in the box. You're going to forget about it. But like I said, every time you look at it, you're going to go, oh, you know what? Okay, I'll read this. And when you do, you're going to enjoy the heck out of it. I think this could be one of those stories where you get more the second time as well. It's just while it's in that box and before you see it, you're not going to think about it at all. But that's just my opinion. What was yours? Have you bought this book, or are you thinking about it? And if so, what would you think about the review? I mean, it was really kind of a wishy-washy review. It's great, but it's good, but You know, what did you think of this book if you've read it? Did you love it? If so, why? Did you hate it? If so, why? Because I think either one of you could make a case for why you felt that way. Just leave it in the comments below. Also, if you like this video, here comes the pitch. Click like, share, and if you haven't done it already, subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything around here. Also, this is the way we make our living, so if you don't mind going on over to Patreon, links in the description below. Drop $1 in the till. Helps keep the lights on. Help us keep making these videos for you. We certainly do like that. And we certainly love to thank everybody who's already done that. And to everyone, all the true believers, we say thank you very, very much for watching.